The emotions of a night like this?
It was really good to come back and get the win. It was. We're mid-season, kind of the early part of the season, and so you got to take it for what it is. And what it was a hard-fought win against a great opponent. And to be able to come back like that, I think was special for our whole team. It shows who we are. I mean, I've told everybody, I get asked about the games a lot, and from the beginning of the season, and every time I just say it's a dogfight. Like, that's just who we are, and the way our schedule's set up. Every game's going to be decided by a touchdown or less. So we're ready for it for the rest of the season, and I hope Cougar fans are too, because this is how it's going to be. And obviously in games like that are close, emotions run high, and the highs are really high and the lows are really low. And so it's going to be a fun season.
Riley, what changed for the team in terms of the tempo and energy when you got onto the field in the third quarter?
Well, you know what? The only thing I think that changed is we had some design quarterback runs in there offensively. Other than that, we kept doing our stuff. Guys making great plays, catching the ball while getting hit, and some plays that come to mind. Brian Correa on that when he caught that ball on the flat and goes over the guy and gets flipped. Marcus Matthews went up and got a ball and got undercut. Cody Hoffman catching that ball on the sideline, and a lot of other great plays. So, I mean, nothing really changed other than we knew what we had to do and we went and did it. We did add the wrinkle of throwing in some design QB runs.
Riley, do you see yourself as a starter, and do you think you should be?
I don't make personnel decisions.
Riley, can you talk? You found yourself in pretty much a classic football position, 96 yards, actually 98 after the first play, and clock winding down. What was your mindset? What were your thoughts like? And could you hear the crowd or?
It was interesting. As far as the crowd goes, no, you don't feel that stuff. And for a while there, it took us. I mean, the clock was ticking. It was taking us a while to get guys lined up, and we were supposed to be in 2-minute tempo. Our hurry up wasn't hurried up enough, and so that's what I was concentrated on mostly, is getting our guys. We only had the one timeout that we needed if we were, in a desperation situation. We couldn't use that. So that's what most of my energy was focused on, that and obviously executing the play. And as far as the yardage, it was what it was. You got to get into the end zone, and I've had the opportunity to be in situations like that before, whether in college football or not, in high school and little league. And I don't know, I think I got to pay a lot to my dad, really, who always taught me and helped me believe in myself and believe that those situations are just like any other situations. And then I come here and Coach Doman says the same thing, and Coach Mendenhall, and it's just another drive that you need to go down and score. So, that's kind of how that last drive went.
Riley, from the moment you came into the game, it seemed like you had really good rapport with Cody. Can you talk about that connection?
We were roommates last year, so we know each other very well. I love Cody like a brother, and like I said, we've spent a lot of time together, chilling, watching games like this, and playing video games and doing all sorts of stuff. And so I love him a lot, and he's a great player, really. He has good rapport with whatever quarterback because of his skill set. And I'm just really proud of him.
Riley, you said you're not involved in personnel decisions, but you have single-handedly put yourself back in talks to be maybe a starter, at least to reevaluate the system. Can you at least tell us about how you feel with that?
No comment.
How are you able to, when you go in there, not put pressure on yourself, like, I've got to get this team going, this is my chance, and all that stuff, and be able to be calm?
I don't know, man. You're the backup quarterback. Not much is expected of you. So, if you go in there and don't play too well, that's kind of what people expect. And if you go in there and play great, then all of a sudden you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. So that was kind of my approach to it, is go out and even though I haven't had a lot of game-like experience, the few reps I get in practice and things like the spring game and all that stuff, I tried to make those as game-like as possible and tried to control my emotions such that they were the same in those practice situations as they were in the game. Because I will admit, you go in there and automatically the heart starts beating and your mind starts racing. But if I tried really hard to calm myself down and just play football. And I think I didn't do it perfectly, but I feel like I did a pretty good job of that.
Riley, can you take us through the two big plays? First of all, scrambling around and then launching it deep and having McKay kind of adjust and come back to the play. What happened on that particular play?
we had a double move. It was a sprint out to the right, and they had it covered up really good. And it's a desperation situation down at and you just got to stay alive. We did the rollout. The whole defense went with the rollout, and I turned back. I had the one guy to beat, put a move on him, and then I was just kind of waiting to see what happened on the scramble drill. Cody spun around. Cody was that backside receiver, and when he spun around, he ran right into his defender. And McKay's defender was on top of him, meaning he was farther down the field. So him coming back, he had a free path to the ball, and I just kind of threw it to the middle of the field. It was really desperation and quite a bit of luck. And so, because in that situation, with that play call, running it doesn't do us much good because it's a long developing play. You kind of need a chunk, so you got to take that shot. And I can't tell you how many times throwing with McKay in the summer and since I've been here, he always just says to you, just throw it up. And in our offense, it's very timing based and things like that, so there's not a lot of opportunities to do that, but I'm glad it worked out for us tonight.
And then take us through the touchdown as well, the tip ball, and then having it end up in your receiver's arms as opposed to being an interception.
Again, luck, and for whatever reason the ball was bouncing our way tonight. But the coverage was such that we had one-on-one on our guys in the middle. No safety help over top. And we had fades on the outside and seams up the middle, and the guy was outside leverage on JJ, and he had the ability to cut whichever way it was. So my initial read was to go to JJ because the safety help was to the other side of the field over the top of Marcus and McKay. And when JJ set him up outside and crossed his face, he got held. But he was able to get a hand on the ball. Marcus was running up that other seam. The ball was hanging up there long enough for him to adjust and catch it. So again, luck I think played a part in there. But even still, they called a flag. We would have had another opportunity to punch the ball in the end zone.
What was the emotion like when you saw it was caught and you got in that big touchdown?
Just kind of felt like a little bit of a sense of accomplishment. It wasn't overly elated. People kind of get at Coach Mendenhall a little bit like that for not really smiling or not really showing a lot of emotion. I do show emotion, but I'm kind of that same way. You don't get too high because if you get too high, the crash or coming down is pretty rough on you. I always love the image of when Larry Bird was coaching the Pacers, and I think Reggie Miller hit a shot to send him to the Eastern Conference Final, whatever. And he stood there, and it's like we make plays like that, we do things like that, and I really admire that attitude in sports. But I was very excited, happy for Marcus that he caught the ball, happy for our offense that we were able to go the distance of the field and be able to win the game.